Well, folks, thank you all for being here today and for the work that you're doing. I understand today's conference is entitled Beyond Genocide, Preserving Christianity in the Middle East. I propose a slight emendation. How about stopping genocide by the Islamic Caliphate in the Middle East? Or even more broadly, because this is our real mission, to proclaim liberty throughout all the land and unto all the inhabitants thereof. What's at stake is not only the annihilation of the Christian presence in the Middle East that dates back 2,000 years, nor is it the annihilation of the Jewish presence that dates back some 5,000 years. It is precisely the extinguishment of freedom and enlightenment, not only in the Middle East, but around the world, by a radical and retrograde ideology that is entwined in the movement to establish an Islamic caliphate over the world. We have leaders today in positions of power, particularly in the United States and Europe, who are either unwilling or incapable of making that simple and self-evident statement. We have to change that before what Churchill called history's terrible, chilling words are proclaimed upon us. Too late. These same leaders have funded the constituent parts of this emerging Islamic caliphate with hundreds of billions of dollars released to the terrorist regime of Iran. They have given legal sanction to Iran to develop and deploy nuclear weapons within the decade. They have revived the craven practice of paying ransom for hostages that was once disdained by Stephen Decatur's immortal words, millions for defense, not 1 cent for tribute. They've repeatedly undermined the international position of the only reliable ally we have in that region, the State of Israel. And at the same time, they've opened the borders of the Western nations to unprecedented immigration from hotbeds of Islamic extremism with virtually non-existent vetting. Ladies and gentlemen, from the perspective of anybody, whether they are a Christian, Jew, Muslim, or Hindu, anybody who values Western civilization with all of its freedom and dignity and prosperity and advancement, these policies can only be described as suicidal madness. We are watching the rise of Islamic fascism on a scale that could soon rival that of Nazi fascism. It may be wrapped in different symbols and traces genealogy through a different line. But at its core, make no mistake, it is fascism. Listen to its virulent anti-Semitism, the explicit promise and determined practice of mass genocide, the utter rejection, indeed the disdain for fundamental principles of democracy and justice and human rights. There can be no doubt about what is happening. This radical Islamic movement is determined to annihilate every Christian and Jew in the Middle East, and let's not forget dissenting Muslims as well. And they are well on their way toward achieving this goal. It would be the height of naivete to believe that they will stop in the Middle East. So let this be crystal clear. There is no moral equivalence between good and evil, and our nation's government must cease to pretend that there is. I am very glad that you're here, but the bad news is we've currently lost that debate inside this city. The good news is that the debate inside this city isn't the important one. It's merely a reflection of the great debate that's occurring over backyard fences and family dinner tables and coffee shops across this land. And that's a debate that we are winning and that we must win. Because it's upon the outcome of that debate that these issues will be decided for good or ill. Winning it must occupy the attention of every man and woman of goodwill in this nation in the momentous months that lie ahead. I think Churchill said it best. He said, dictatorship is a passing phase. A state of society where men may not speak their minds, where children denounce their parents to the police, where a businessman or small shopkeeper ruins his competitor by telling tales about his private opinions. Such a state of society cannot long endure if brought into contact with the healthy outside world. The light of civilized progress, with its tolerances and cooperation, with its dignities and joys, has often in the past been blotted out. But I hold the belief that we have at last got far enough ahead of barbarism to control it and to avert it, only if we realize what is afoot and make up our minds in time. You've made up your minds. You're fighting that fight. Thank you all for everything that you're doing.